The ultimatum, complete. Commander Sarah Chen stood on the observation deck of the UEF Prometheus, watching stars blur past at sublight speed. Her reflection stared back from the reinforced viewport, showing tired eyes in a face weathered by 20 years of deep space service. Behind her, the soft hum of the ship's fusion drives created a familiar melody that had become her lullaby during long watches. The Prometheus was humanity's finest achievement, a testament to what Earth could accomplish when united by purpose. 300 meters of advanced alloys and experimental technology. She carried a crew of 800 and represented the pinnacle of human engineering. But against what was coming, Chen wondered if it would be enough. "Commander, we're receiving priority transmission from Earth Control." The voice belonged to Lieutenant James Park, her communications officer. The young man's usually cheerful face was creased with worry. Chen turned from the viewport, her magnetic boots clicking against the deck as she walked. "Put it through to my ready room, Lieutenant." The ready room was small but efficient, like everything aboard the Prometheus. Chen settled into her chair as the main screen flickered to life, revealing the gray face of Admiral Maria Vasquez. The head of Earth Defense Command rarely showed emotion, but today her dark eyes held unmistakable fear. "Sarah," the Admiral began, dropping formality, "we have a situation. The Dominion Empire has arrived." Chen's spine straightened. The Dominion Empire controlled over 2,000 star systems, their rule absolute and unforgiving. Humanity had known this day would come, but they'd hoped for more time to prepare. "How many ships?" Chen asked, though she dreaded the answer. 73 warships, including their flagship, the Decimator. They're holding position just beyond Jupiter's orbit. Vasquez paused, collecting herself. They've issued an ultimatum. Complete surrender within 48 hours, or they'll reduce Earth to ash. The word hung in the air like a death sentence. Chen had studied Dominion tactics, seen recordings of worlds that had resisted. The Empire didn't make empty threats. "Our response?" Chen asked, though she already knew what it must be. The Council voted unanimously. "We won't bow to tyranny." Vasquez's voice carried steel now. "The Prometheus is our only ship capable of engaging their fleet. We need you to buy us time." Chen nodded slowly. One ship against 73. The math was simple and terrible. "Our new defensive systems?" Chen inquired. "Dr. Marcus Reeves believes the mirror field generator is ready. It's untested in combat, but it's our only chance." Vasquez leaned forward. "Sarah, I won't lie to you. The odds are impossible. But if anyone can find a way, it's you and your crew." After the transmission ended, Chen sat in silence for a moment. Then she activated the ship-wide communication system. "All hands, this is the commander. Report to the main assembly hall in 15 minutes." The assembly hall filled quickly, 800 souls, each representing humanity's finest minds and bravest hearts. Chen stood before them, seeing fear, determination, and trust in their faces. "I won't sugarcoat this," she began. "The Dominion Empire has arrived with a fleet of 73 warships. They demand our surrender. Earth has refused." Murmurs rippled through the crowd. Chen raised her hand for silence. "In 36 hours, we will engage the enemy. We are one ship against their armada. By any conventional measure, we cannot win." She paused, letting the words sink in. "But humans have never been conventional." She activated the hall's holographic display, showing the Dominion fleet's formation. "Throughout history, humanity has faced impossible odds. We've survived ice ages, plagues, and wars that should have ended us. Each time, we adapted. We innovated. We refused to accept defeat." Chief Engineer Rebecca Torres stepped forward. The older woman's gray-streaked hair was pulled back in her usual practical style. "The mirror field generator is operational, Commander. Dr. Reeves and I have run simulations. If it works as designed, it could reflect their energy weapons back at them." "If it works," someone called from the crowd. Torres nodded grimly. "Nothing certain. but sitting here doing nothing is certain death. Dr. Marcus Reeves joined Torres. The quantum physicist looked like he hadn't slept in days, which was probably accurate. The mirror field operates on quantum uncertainty principles. It creates a probability bubble around the ship, potentially reversing the vector of incoming energy. But the power requirements are enormous. How long can we sustain it? Chen asked. 20 minutes maximum. After that, our fusion cores will overload. 20 minutes to defeat 73 warships. Chen almost laughed at the absurdity. There's more, Reeves continued. The field has a secondary effect. It might create quantum echoes, making it appear as if multiple versions of our ship exist simultaneously. The enemy's targeting systems would have difficulty locking on. Tactical Officer David Kim raised his hand. Commander, I've analyzed their fleet composition. The Dominion uses standardized formations. They haven't changed tactics in centuries. Their arrogance might be their weakness. Chen nodded thoughtfully. The Dominion had crushed all resistance for so long, they'd forgotten how to adapt. Perhaps that gave humanity an edge. All department heads, meet me in the war room in 1 hour. The rest of you, prepare your stations. Whatever happens, we face it together. As the crew dispersed, Chen caught glimpses of determination replacing fear. They might be outnumbered, but they weren't beaten. Not yet. The war room was crowded with her senior staff. Chen studied the tactical display, showing the Dominion fleet's position. They're maintaining standard conquest formation, Kim reported. Their flagship sits at the center, protected by concentric rings of destroyers and cruisers. Like a bullseye, muttered Torres. Exactly. Chen traced a path with her finger. They expect us to either surrender or make a suicidal frontal assault. But what if we give them neither? Dr. Elena Kowalski, the ship's xenobiologist, spoke up. I studied every record we have on the Dominion. They're methodical, predictable. They follow protocols that haven't changed in millennia. So we be unpredictable, Chen concluded. We use their expectations against them. Navigator Raj Patel pulled up a three-dimensional map of the solar system. If we use Jupiter's gravity well for a slingshot maneuver, we could approach from an unexpected vector. Combined with the mirror field's quantum echoes, we might confuse their sensors long enough to strike. Chen looked around the room at her officers. Each face showed the weight of what they were attempting, but also an unbreakable resolve. Begin preparations. Torres, I want every system pushed to maximum efficiency. Reeves, run final calibrations on the mirror field. Kim, work with Patel on approach vectors. As her officers filed out, Chen called to their youngest member, Ensign Walker, a moment. Thomas Walker was barely 22, fresh from the academy. His youth made him seem out of place among the veterans, but his piloting skills were extraordinary. Sir, Walker's voice cracked slightly. You'll be at the helm when we engage. I need to know you're ready. Walker straightened. I won't let you down, Commander. Chen smiled slightly. I know you won't, Tom. You're here because you're the best pilot in the fleet. Trust your instincts. Alone in the war room, Chen stared at the tactical display. 73 ships, each carrying weapons that could crack continents. The rational part of her mind screamed that this was impossible. But the human part, the part that had driven her species to the stars, whispered something else. Sometimes, impossible was just another challenge to overcome. The next hours passed in a blur of preparation. Throughout the ship, crews worked with desperate efficiency. In engineering, Torres pushed her team to modify power distribution systems. In the science labs, Reeves fine-tuned quantum field equations. In the armory, weapons crews checked and rechecked every missile, every point defense laser. Chen walked the corridors, speaking with crew members, offering encouragement, sharing jokes. She found a group of junior technicians huddled together, fear evident on their young faces. Scared? She asked gently. They nodded, too honest to lie. Good, Chen said. Fear keeps you sharp, but remember, We're not just fighting for ourselves. We're fighting for everyone on Earth. For our families, our friends, our future. In the mess hall, she found head chef Anton Novak serving what might be their last meal. The older man had insisted on preparing something special. Figured if we're going to face death, we should do it on a full stomach, Novak said, ladling soup into bowls. Chen accepted a bowl gratefully. Anton, when this is over, remind me to recommend you for a commendation. When this is over, Novak repeated firmly. Not if. Chen smiled. This was why humanity endured. Not because they were strongest or smartest, but because they refused to accept defeat even when staring into its face. With 24 hours remaining, Chen called another meeting of senior staff. The tactical display now showed updated positions of the Dominion fleet. They haven't moved, Kim reported. Standard intimidation tactic. They want us to see them, to count their numbers, to despair. Then we disappoint them, Chen said. Status reports. Torres went first. Engine modifications complete. We can achieve 20% more thrust, though it'll strain the containment fields. Reeves followed. Mirror field generators show green across the board. I've programmed a cycling pattern that might extend operational time to 25 minutes. Navigation has plotted 17 different approach vectors, Patil added. Each uses gravitational assists from Jupiter's moons. Chen studied the options. Number 12. It takes us through Eo's magnetosphere. The radiation might help mask our approach. That radiation could also fry our systems, Torres warned. The shields can handle it for the time we need, Reeves countered. Probably. Chen almost smiled at that. Everything they were planning came with probably attached. Medical Chief Dr. Lisan Nguyen spoke next. Sick bay is prepared for casualties. We've synthesized additional blood supplies and prepped all surgical bays. The room fell silent. Everyone knew casualties were not just likely but certain. I want all non-essential personnel in secured areas during the engagement, Chen ordered. Seal bulkheads between sections. If we take critical damage, we need to contain it. As the meeting concluded, Chen noticed Ensign Walker lingering by the door. Something on your mind, Ensign? Walker hesitated, then spoke in a rush. Commander, my younger sister is on Earth. She's studying to be a pilot too. I just wanted you to know that whatever happens, I'll give everything I have. Chen placed a hand on the young man's shoulder. We all have someone we're fighting for, Tom. That's what makes us dangerous. With 12 hours remaining, Chen made her final rounds. In engineering, she found Torres elbow deep in a power coupling, making last-minute adjustments. Rebecca, you should rest. Torres snorted. I'll rest when we've won. These couplings need realignment to handle the power surge when we activate the mirror field. In the science lab, Reeves was still at his workstation, running simulations. Find anything new? Chen asked. Maybe. Reeves pulled up a holographic model. If we pulse the mirror field instead of running it continuously, we might create unpredictable reflection patterns. The enemy wouldn't know which shots would return to them. Do it, Chen ordered. As the final hours ticked down, a strange calm settled over the ship. The crew had done everything possible. Now it was a matter of execution and luck. Chen returned to her quarters for what might be her last rest. On her desk sat a photo of Earth taken from Luna Base, the blue marble hanging in space. She picked it up, studying the swirls of cloud, the brown and green of continents. Worth fighting for. Worth dying for. A soft chime interrupted her thoughts. Commander to the bridge, Park's voice called. On the bridge, her bridge crew was already at stations. The main screen showed the Dominion fleet, still maintaining perfect formation. Status? Chen asked, taking her command chair. 6 hours to deadline, Park reported. No communication from the Dominion. Chen nodded. Then we proceed as planned. All stations, battle readiness. This is not a drill. Throughout the ship, alarms sounded. Crew members rushed to battle stations, blast doors sealed. The lights shifted to combat illumination. Helm, initiate approach Vector 12. Take us in. Aye, Commander, Walker replied, his hand steady on the controls. The Prometheus turned away from Earth, accelerating toward Jupiter. Behind them, the blue jewel of humanity's home grew smaller. Ahead, destiny waited among the giants of the outer system. As they passed Luna Base, Chen activated ship-wide communications one final time. All hands, this is your commander. In a few hours, we will face an enemy that has never known defeat. They come with superior numbers and centuries of military tradition. They expect us to cower or die. She paused, choosing her words carefully. They have forgotten what humans are. We are the species that looked at the ocean and built ships. We looked at the sky and built wings. We looked at the stars and refused to accept that they were out of reach. The bridge crew listened intently, and Chen knew her words were being heard throughout the ship. Today, we remind the galaxy who we are. We are the children of Earth, inheritors of a legacy of defiance against the impossible. To our enemy, I say this: you have awakened something you don't understand. You have threatened our home, and that was your first mistake. She stood, facing the main screen where Jupiter grew larger with each passing moment. It will also be your last. Into the storm. The journey to Jupiter took 18 hours at maximum thrust. The Prometheus carved through space like a silver arrow, her engines burning bright against the cosmic dark. Inside, 800 humans prepared for battle, each dealing with the approaching confrontation in their own way. In the observation lounge, a group of off-duty crew members gathered for what had become a tradition before dangerous missions. They called it the Last Story Circle, though no one spoke those words aloud. Each person shared a memory from Earth, something worth fighting for. The sunrise over Mount Fuji, said Kenji Tanaka, a systems analyst. My grandfather took me there when I was 10. He said the mountain taught patience, that some things were worth waiting for. Central Park in autumn, added Maria Santos from the life support team. The way the leaves turned gold and red, like fire against the sky. My daughter took her first steps there. One by one, they shared their pieces of Earth. Beaches and forests, cities and villages, moments of joy that defined what it meant to be human. The stories wove together into a tapestry of memories, a reminder of everything at stake. On the bridge, Chen watched Jupiter grow larger on the main viewer. The gas giant's bands of cream and brown swirled in eternal storms, indifferent to the drama about to unfold in its shadow. Crossing into Jupiter's gravitational influence, Navigator Paddle reported, adjusting course for slingshot maneuver. Enemy fleet status, Chen asked. Tactical Officer Kim checked his displays. No change in formation. They're still waiting at the deadline point. Chen frowned. The Dominion's patience worried her. They were too confident, too certain of victory. Commander, Communications Officer Park called out, I'm detecting unusual subspace readings from the enemy fleet. What kind of readings? Unknown, but they're synchronized across all their ships. It's like they're connected somehow. Dr. Kowalski leaned over Park's shoulder, studying the data. This matches some theoretical work on quantum entanglement communication. The Dominion might have instantaneous coordination between their vessels. Chen absorbed this information. If true, it meant the enemy could react as one organism, countering moves faster than traditional fleet tactics allowed. Does this change our plan? Walker asked from the helm. No, Chen decided, but it means we'll need to be even more unpredictable. They can't counter what they can't anticipate. In the engineering section, Chief Torres supervised the final preparations. Her team had transformed the mirror field generator from an experimental prototype into what they hoped would be humanity's salvation. The device filled an entire cargo bay, its crystalline matrices pulsing with contained energy. Remember, Torres addressed her team, when we activate this thing, we're pushing every system past its safety limits. I need everyone at their stations, ready for anything. What if it doesn't work? Asked the young technician. Torres fixed him with a steady gaze. Then we'll improvise. Humans are good at that. In the science lab, Dr. Reeves made final adjustments to the mirror field's control algorithms. The equations covering his screens were beautiful in their complexity, describing the fundamental nature of space-time itself. Dr. Reeves, his assistant, Jennifer Wu, approached cautiously. I've been running the power consumption models. Even with the pulsing modification, we're looking at catastrophic system failures after 20 minutes. Reeves nodded without looking up. I know. That's why I'm implementing a cascading shutdown protocol. When the systems start to fail, we'll channel all remaining power into one final pulse. That could destroy the ship. Better than certain destruction without it. Reeves finally met her eyes. Sometimes, Jennifer, you have to risk everything for a chance at survival. As the Prometheus approached Jupiter's moon Io, the massive volcanic satellite filled their screens. Geysers of sulfur dioxide erupted from its surface, creating an atmosphere of charged particles. Entering Io's magnetosphere, Patel announced. Radiation levels climbing. Shield holding, reported the duty engineer. But we're getting interference on several sensor bands. Good, Chen said. If we can't see clearly, neither can they. The ship shuddered as it passed through Io's wake, using the moon's gravity to adjust trajectory. The radiation played havoc with their instruments, but also provided the cover they needed. In sick bay, Dr. Nguyen ran her team through trauma protocols one more time. They had prepared for everything from plasma burns to decompression injuries. The medical staff moved with practiced efficiency, but Nguyen could see the strain in their faces. Doctor, her head nurse, James Cooper, spoke quietly. The crew's stress levels are dangerously high. Should we consider mild sedatives for non-essential personnel? Nguyen shook her head. Fear keeps us sharp. We'll need every edge we can get. With 4 hours until the deadline, Chen called her senior staff for a final briefing. The war room's holographic display showed their planned attack vector, a complex spiral that would bring them out of Jupiter's shadow at an unexpected angle. The mirror field is as ready as it'll ever be, Torres reported. We can give you 25 minutes, maybe 30 if we're lucky. Tactical analysis suggests we target their command ships first, Kim added. If we can disrupt their coordination, it might buy us crucial seconds. Chen studied the display, her mind racing through possibilities. Everything depended on those first moments of contact. If the mirror field worked, if their approach confused enemy sensors, if the quantum echoes multiplied their apparent numbers. Too many ifs. But it was all they had. Once we engage, there's no retreat, she said finally. We either break their fleet or die trying. Everyone understand. Nods around the table. These people had served with her for years. They knew the stakes. As the meeting ended, Dr. Kowalski approached Chen privately. Commander, I've been analyzing the Dominion's ultimatum message. Their language patterns suggest absolute certainty of victory. In their entire recorded history, they've never lost a fleet engagement. There's a first time for everything, Chen replied. Yes, but they're not just confident. They're curious. I think they want to see what we'll do. To them, we're an interesting specimen about to be collected. Chen's jaw tightened. Then we'll give them a lesson in human nature they won't forget. 2 hours before the deadline, the Prometheus reached the calculated position behind Ganymede, Jupiter's largest moon. Here, hidden from enemy sensors, they would make their final preparations. All stop, Walker announced. We're in position. Chen stood, facing her bridge crew. Begin final system checks. I want everything green before we move. The checks revealed minor issues, quickly corrected. The ship hummed with barely contained energy, every system pushed to its limit. In the cargo bay housing the mirror field generator, Dr. Reeves ran through the activation sequence one last time. The massive device seemed to pulse with anticipation, its crystalline components resonating at frequencies that made nearby crew members' teeth ache. "Dr. Reeves," Chen's voice came over the intercom. "Status. Field generator is optimal, Commander. We're ready." Throughout the ship, crew members made their own preparations. Some wrote final messages to loved ones, using the ship's computer to store them in case the worst happened. Others checked weapons, ran diagnostics, or simply sat in quiet meditation. In the pilot-ready room, Ensign Walker went through his pre-flight routine. His hands moved over imaginary controls, rehearsing the maneuvers he'd need to execute. The other pilots watched him, drawing confidence from his calm focus. "You really think we can do this?" asked Lieutenant Sarah Kim, one of the fighter pilots who would launch if the Prometheus was disabled. Walker looked up, his young face serious. "The commander believes we can. That's enough for me." With 1 hour remaining, Chen ordered all hands to battle stations. The lighting throughout the ship shifted to combat red. Blast doors sealed, dividing the ship into isolated sections. If one area was breached, the others might survive. On the bridge, the main viewer showed Jupiter's swirling clouds. Somewhere beyond that gas giant, the Dominion fleet waited. "Helm, bring us to attack position. 1/4 thrust until we clear Ganymede, then full acceleration." "Aye, Commander." The Prometheus moved forward, sliding past Ganymede's icy surface. As they cleared the moon's sensor shadow, alarms immediately sounded. "Contact," Kim shouted. "Dominion fleet has detected us. They're not moving, maintaining position." Chen frowned. Why weren't they reacting? "Incoming transmission," Park reported. The main screen flickered, revealing the Dominion fleet commander. The alien was vaguely humanoid, but with skin like polished obsidian and eyes that held too many pupils. When it spoke, the universal translator rendered its words in flat, emotionless tones. "Human vessel, you have chosen defiance. This is unexpected. Most species accept reality. You persist in delusion." Chen stood, meeting the alien's multi-pupilled gaze. "We choose freedom. That's not delusion. That's human nature." The commander's head tilted at an inhuman angle. "Your single ship against our fleet. Your primitive technology against our proven superiority. Explain the logic." "Logic." Chen smiled coldly. "We left logic behind when you threatened our world. Now you face something else entirely." "What do you face?" "The most dangerous thing in the universe. A human with nothing left to lose." The transmission cut off. Immediately, the tactical display lit up with warnings. "Enemy weapons charging," Kim reported. "All ships are targeting us." Chen returned to her chair. "All hands, this is it. Helm, attack pattern Alpha. Engineering, activate the mirror field. Let's show them what humans are made of." The Prometheus surged forward, accelerating to speeds that pressed the crew into their seats despite the inertial dampeners. Outside, space itself seemed to ripple as the mirror field engaged, bending reality around the ship. In engineering, Torres watched power levels spike dangerously. "Field is active. Quantum resonance building." On the bridge, the tactical display showed something remarkable. Where one ship had been, sensors now detected dozens. The quantum echoes had multiplied the Prometheus's signature, creating a fleet of ghost ships. "They're confused," Kim reported with satisfaction. "Their targeting systems can't lock on." "Now," Chen ordered, "all weapons, fire." The Prometheus's weapons spoke as one. Missiles streaked toward the enemy fleet, while energy beams lanced through space. But the real surprise came when the Dominion returned fire. Dozens of enemy beams converged on the Prometheus, enough firepower to vaporize a small moon. They hit the mirror field, and something impossible happened. The beams curved, twisted, and reflected back toward their sources. Dominion ships exploded as their own weapons turned against them. The perfect formation that had conquered 1,000 worlds became a liability as reflected shots found targets throughout their fleet. "It's working," Reeves shouted over the intercom. "The field is holding. But Chen could see the cost. Power readings fluctuated wildly. The ship shuddered under the strain of maintaining the reality distortion. Helm, bring us deeper into their formation. If we're going to do this, we do it completely. Walker's hands flew over his controls, sending the Prometheus into a spiraling dive through the enemy fleet. Dominion ships fired frantically, their shots creating a deadly lattice of energy that their own ships couldn't avoid. The battle had become chaos, exactly what Chen had hoped for. The Dominion's perfect coordination meant nothing when their own weapons were their enemy. But the mirror field was failing. Warning lights flashed across every console as systems overloaded. Field cohesion at 60%. Torres reported. 50. We're losing it. Chen gripped her chair arms. They had achieved the impossible, turned the enemy's strength against them. But it wouldn't be enough. Too many enemy ships remained. Commander, Reeves's voice cut through the chaos. I'm implementing the Cascade Protocol, channeling all remaining power into one final pulse. Do it, Chen ordered. The lights dimmed as every system fed power to the mirror field. For a moment, the Prometheus hung in space, dark and vulnerable. Then reality exploded. The final pulse created a sphere of distorted spacetime that expanded outward at the speed of light. Every Dominion ship it touched found its own energy weapons reversed, their shields inverted, their very atoms confused about which direction they should face. The enemy fleet, 73 of the galaxy's most advanced warships, crumbled like sandcastles before a tide. When the pulse faded, the Prometheus drifted in a field of debris. The mirror field generator had melted into slag. Half the ship's systems were offline, but they were alive. Damage report, Chen ordered weakly. Massive system failures across all decks. Torres responded. But hull integrity holding. We're beaten up, but we're still here. Enemy fleet status. Kim's voice held wonder. Destroyed or disabled. All of them. We won. The bridge erupted in cheers, but Chen remained focused. Any escape pods? Survivors. Multiple life signs in the debris field. They're not going anywhere. Chen nodded. Even in victory, humanity would show mercy. Begin rescue operations. Park, signal Earth. Tell them the way is clear. As damage control teams worked to restore systems, Chen finally allowed herself to relax. They had faced impossible odds and triumphed. Not through superior technology or numbers, but through innovation, determination, and the willingness to risk everything. The Dominion had learned what countless challenges throughout history had taught. Never underestimate humanity. Looking at the debris field that had once been an invincible fleet, Chen spoke quietly to the cosmos. You thought you knew us. You thought we were just another species to conquer. But you forgot the most important thing about humans. She smiled, exhaustion mixing with triumph. We're really bad at knowing when we're beaten. The Prometheus, battered but unbroken, turned toward home. Behind them, Jupiter watched with ancient indifference as humanity announced its arrival on the galactic stage. The Empire had expected surrender. Instead, they had found something far more dangerous than any weapon. They had found the human spirit. And the galaxy would never be the same.